I've missed you so much. How have you all been? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Remember me? I feel like you'll all be happy to know that I'm back with a makeup video today, and I thought, because this is like a video that I like to kind of update every now and again, my everyday makeup routine, or even just like my go-to makeup look. Feel good in, I'm using products that I rely on and that I've been obsessed with, which is why I like to update it every now and again, because obviously as I use things, being like a makeup gal, I try a lot, I test a lot, I fall in love with new products, they become part of my like everyday routine, like they just can't leave my makeup bag. And since I did the last one, I feel like a lot of things have changed. So in fact, I don't even remember when the last one was. Forever ago. Jordan, get it together. Anyway, I feel like this is like my signature glam. I feel like if I could think of like Jordan Lipscomb in a makeup look, it would be this look. So it's still got like my full coverage glam, that pink cheek, like that Babydoll pink cheek. I feel like that's so me, a big lash. When I do my makeup, it's like muscle memory with this look. I'm also going to go as in-depth as possible, by the way. Not only am I going to obviously like show you what I'm doing, I'm going to talk through like how I'm doing it and how I achieve the things that I achieve, even tools that I'm using, the full shebang. I'm going to put as many details as possible in this video. It's very like in-depth and makeup-y. Buckle in, grab a drink, and let's get glam. I love you. Okay, first step I always do with my makeup is my brows. As you can see, I do already have them on because I just find them fucking boring, to be honest. Boring to show, boring to watch. I know you're all probably gonna kill me for that. I feel like I'm gonna get yelled at. Like, Jordan, you should have shown us how you do your brows. I feel like that's a little tutorial that I can do on TikTok or something, or even like a short on here. I don't know. We'll do that on like a separate occasion, but that is always what I do. I always start with my brows. I just find it easier to get them done, dusted, out the way, and then I'll show you how I work around them. Now I like to do skincare. I do my skincare after my brows, by the way, because obviously I don't want any moisture on my skin while I'm doing my brows because I want them to stick. That's a top tip. If your brow product isn't sticking as well and you do your skincare first, try doing it after. This is kind of skin prep, lip prep, because I don't want crusty lips. These lip oils from Give Me Cosmetics are sensational. This one's just like the clear one. I think it's called So Original. Glazed lip oil, it's called. Obviously, it's got no colour to it because I don't need colour right now. I even use these as like a gloss because they're so shiny and glossy and I love the applicator. It's one of those ones, you know, that you press and it just comes out the top like that. So hydrating, so moisturising, and I just let that chill. Skin prep before makeup for me, I like to be so minimal. I don't like anything heavy, greasy. I don't like too many layers. I feel like it kind of interferes with my base. So I just do a toner and then a moisturizer. This is the Tear Milk Skin Toner. This is really nice. It's really light but super hydrating on the skin. Even though I've got oily skin, you still want to hydrate. That way throughout the day, your skin doesn't try to like overproduce oils to make up for the fact that there's lack of moisture, if that makes sense. Pour some into my hand, rub my hands together, and then I just apply it onto the skin. Milky toners are actually more of like a newer step for me at the moment. There's something about a milky toner underneath your makeup that just like hits different. I only use this in the morning as well. Like this is like my morning skincare because I like something more like active, like more active ingredients for like the evening for my skin to do its thing overnight. But this is really, really nice, this one. If you're looking for a good one. Moisturizer I've been loving at the moment. When this comes out, guys, you need to get your hands on this. This is stunning. I have no idea what fine put in this, but it's such a beautiful moisturizer. It's the Fine Art Beauty Diamond Dew Moisturizing Cream. Look at the texture of this, like the consistency. It's so glowy on the skin as well, which I love, but it's not too thick. Yeah, we want our skin to be like hydrated, but I don't want it to be thick and greasy where my makeup's just gonna like slide around. It's got that nice thin texture, but it leaves the skin looking like glass. Look how beautiful that looks on the skin. Oh, I love it. Not gonna lie, I don't always do this step, but you should. SPF. I feel like it's a step that we typically miss, but it is good to do. This one I love. This is for my oily skin people, okay? Garnier BHA and Niacinamide Daily UV. The reason why I say this is good for people with oily skin, it's invisible and it's matte. Hear that? It's thin. Might sound strange, but I only put this in my T-zone. It will make sense in a second. Oh my God, it's going in my nose, quick. Get that all rubbed in here. And I don't know if this is me just making this up, but I feel like it actually helps to like smooth out the area that I'm putting it on too, because it kind of dries down on the skin. Like you'll feel it like slowly drying. SPF 50 plus as well. I love this one underneath makeup. And then like if I'm on holiday or like having no makeup days, I like to be glowier, but like underneath makeup, this one's lush because it doesn't like make things go weird and greasy. And as you can see, it doesn't even leave like a white film. Primers I switch up all the time, to be honest. It just depends on the day. Sometimes I like a gripping primer, pore filling primer, blur, like whatever it may be. Typically I like to do a gripping and a pore fill-in, but I've just been using this one at the moment and really enjoying it. It's by Charlotte Tilbury. It's the Invisible UV Flawless Poreless Primer. So this actually does have SPF 50 in it as well. 2-in-1 if you're lazy and you just want to get it all done together. But I kind of just apply this everywhere else. Oh, kind of put it everywhere. I do try to avoid the T-zone a little bit. Okay, gorgeous. Now my skin is prepped and ready to go, especially because I've got some breakouts at the moment as well. What is my skin doing, by the way? What is this? Rude. You know when they go dry and crusty and you need the hydration to stop them looking disgusting. Cool, right, prepped. We're ready to go. Let's do some makeup. For me, it doesn't matter if I'm doing like my go-to daily makeup routine or I'm going out in the evening, whatever. I always like to pre-conceal if I've got breakouts, which as we can see, I very much do. My skin's being a brat. Okay, fave thing to use to do that. And I've gone through pots of this stuff. NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. This is in medium 0. Sometimes I use custard, and to be honest, it's not a big deal anyway because I go over the top with foundation. I find it better to do it before foundation so that you don't like over apply foundation. Conceal the things you need to prior. That way you can use less product and it just covers better. And this concealer is so good because it's like a matte concealer. It's got coverage. Do you know what I mean? And it doesn't enhance texture because it's not a drying formula, even though it says matte. Don't be fooled by that. Guys, my go-to foundation at the moment, I've not put this shit down, okay? Whether it's every day, I'm going out, whatever, I'm literally obsessed with this stuff. It's the Maybelline Superstay Lumi Matte Foundation. This is hands down one of the best foundations that Maybelline have ever done. The finish of it is so beautiful. It's so lightweight as well though. This has quickly become one of my favorite foundations, and it's drugstore. 2 shades I go between. So I've got 128 and then I've also got 140. 140 is when I'm more tanned. 128 is kind of somewhere in the middle. Sometimes I use one and the other, and then sometimes I mix them. It just really depends on what I'm feeling. I think today I might mix them actually. I like to apply my foundation with a brush. Like, look at that. Like, look at the foundation just melting into the skin. I can't even describe it. It looks like skin, but you can also build up to full glam. Like, it's just, oh, it's just so nice. Anyway, I like a brush to apply my foundation. I like it to kind of hold as much coverage as possible. And then I like a sponge for my concealer. That's just me though in preference. A brush like this as well is one of my favorites. One of those kind of slanted ones like this. This one's from HMB. This is the F05. I also like the by Caitlin collection Base Besties. They're probably my most used for foundation. I just like the way that these feel. And just press the product in. I forgot to mention as well, when you spot conceal, don't blend out the area that you've put the concealer, if that makes sense. Like, leave it as like a circle. As you can see, when I've applied the foundation on top, you can't actually see the spot concealer anymore. It's not something that you want to blend out because you obviously want to keep the coverage. Oh my god, I've just remembered. I love to conceal out the top of my brows now. I actually normally like to do this before I do my foundation, but I forgot today, which is fine. Very important. I do this with my foundation, not concealer, because you don't want a halo of concealer around your brow, right? Whatever foundation you're using, if you're going to carve out the top of your brows, use the foundation to do that. Tiny amount on here. This is a Peaches and Cream PC 51. See how that sharpened up my brow, but now also the foundation meets my brow, which is how I can do my brows before without it looking crazy. Sometimes I get that question, like, how do you do your brows before without like messing them up? This is how. I love this brush. This is the HMB F09. It's like the perfect brush size to fit in between my brows so I can fade out the concealer. I use it on my lids as well. That step takes me 2 seconds, but I feel like it makes such a difference. For concealer, I feel like I kind of bounce between a few, to be honest, but one I've really been liking at the moment is the Pink Honey Cloud Cover Creamy Concealer. And I use it in like a couple of different shades. This one is the shade 03W. Carve down the side of my nose because that's going to help with my nose contour. Bring it onto the under eye, and then I kind of loop it around my nose like this. Same thing for the other side, and then I like to meet it here. And then, because this is my highlighting shade, I also like to do my chin, my nose, and a little bit on my forehead. This shade, this is 06N. This is where I like to do this. I probably could go a little bit darker in shade for this, but this is just the one I have. That is the placement that I like with my concealer, which I know is a lot of concealer, but I like a lot of makeup. What can I say? To blend that out, I use a sponge. This one's actually the ISO Clean sponge. Fun fact, my favorite sponge is actually from Claudia Kilsby. My one is looking crusty, and I won't show the internet that. One thing I will say is don't leave this concealer on your face for too long because it does dry down, which is nice when you've got it where you want it to be. But when it's not blended, you don't want to leave it, obviously, for too long. But it's got such great coverage. And I think where it does dry down, for someone with oily skin, I feel like it helps to keep my oils at bay. Like, because typically, you know, day to day, I have my makeup on for a long period of time, so I need help to keep things in place. Obviously powders and stuff help to do that, but formulas can help to do that as well. I love concealer so much. I feel like it makes such a difference. Whatever's left on the sponge as well, I'm just gonna drag it underneath here just for a little bit of shape for later. I don't like doing like a harsh line because I feel like it's just too much, but I love this cream bronzer from Beauty Bay. This is the liquid bronze in the shade Walnut. The reason I like it is it's like a moussey texture. I just find it to be really blurring on the skin. I also love this color when I'm doing pinks because it's not cool, it's not warm, it's like neutral. And when I do like my more everyday pink cheek makeup. I don't like my bronzer to be too warm. I don't like the orange with the pink. I like everything to be a little bit like lighter. I find it really satisfying to apply as well because it's like a doe foot applicator, which I like. I put it in all the usual spots that you put cream bronzer. Head, cheek, jawline, my nose, but I will do my nose last because I like to let it almost set slightly. And then another place I like to do is here on my eye. So I like kind of take it up here. This is like my little kind of cheat method. It makes me look like I'm wearing like eyeshadow or just have shape at least without actually having to put eyeshadow on, especially day to day. Like I'm not really an eyeshadow girl, which is why I like this applicator as well, because I can get it all up in there like that. Right, cool. I like the same sort of brush that I use for my foundation, like one of these slanted brushes. This is a Peaches and Cream PC21. Blend this in. When I'm blending this in as well, I like to make sure I don't take it too much onto the cheek, because I find if you have too much bronzer here, sometimes that's what can make it look muddy. Any definition and like product build-up, bring back here. But I like to keep this bit as kind of product free as possible. I just think it looks more flattering on the skin. I almost bronze and kind of like contour with this. I know it's not really contouring because it's not exactly cool toned, but that's kind of the area I like to keep it in. I'll bring it down just to make sure there's no line, because I don't want to see any lines. Now this is why I like this brush, because it's got this tilt. I can now, instead of using my brush like this, like flat, right, I'm going to flip it and use the point to fit in my eyelid and next to my brows. So again, I'm not disturbing my brows. I can go around them, whatever's left on my sponge. Like carve out. Look at that. I'm not going to add concealer because I don't want it to be a super harsh line. I just want it to be like a soft sort of shadow. See, your tools are everything, guys. Good tools make your life easier. The right shape tools make your life easier. It's all just one kind of full circle thing. Blend out my nose. I like this. This is the HMB F10. It's actually a really interesting shaped brush. I don't know if you can see that. It's like almost like a flat square, but actually it's like a point in the center. When I'm blending the nose, the point helps me kind of keep the product in line. All of the bristles down the sides help to blend it. It's just a really good shape. I was saying this the other day actually, I don't know why, but with my nose contour at the moment, I actually like it to just be straight all the way down. I used to almost create a circle at the tip of my nose to enhance the tip. I like my nose to look like I can't breathe. Nose contour is one of those makeup steps where I feel like everyone does it differently. It just depends on how you want your nose to look. Obviously they're all different shapes, sizes, like it just really depends like what you're after and what you want from it. We're on to blush. My favorite thing. That actually feels so weird saying that on YouTube, because who remembers like back in the day when we just, I say we because I feel like it was a collective thing, we just didn't wear blush, did we? Like I used to hate it. I used to be all about the bronzer life. Now look at me. Especially the pink blush, you know. Although saying that, I have been enjoying like a more warmer, bronzier, sun-kissed vibe as well. But like day to day, I just feel like the pink just looks so fresh. This has been a solid favourite of mine for a really long time. This is the Made by Mitchell Strawberry Cream blush. I really want to try the new formulas. They've got like a new like, is it like called the Smoothie something? Regardless, this is my favourite colour of blush of all time and one of my favourite baby pinks ever. Like mine looks huge by the way because this is the XL. I obviously had to buy the XL because I'm obsessed with it. Kind of on the apple of my cheek, but also along my cheekbone as well. As we can tell, I'm not shy with that. By Caitlin Collection Base Bestie Brush. I think this is the smallest one. Blend that out, starting on the apple of the cheek, up underneath the eye a little bit. Just kind of bring the flush of colour there because I feel like it just looks really like baby doll. And then I'll take my sponge and just soften that out. Always go back in with my bronzer blush once my blush is blended, because I don't know if you can see, there's almost like, not like a line, but I feel like my bronzer and my blush don't meet properly. So I just like to go back over to make sure that they are actually blended into one. And I'll make sure not to take my blush too high to disturb obviously like the shape we've made up here. Where this product is placed here, that's where I focus my blush to be. So I just bounce up and down like this. And then once I've done that, I can then start to shift it and fade it out. And then you just get that little soft pink flush. This is just the base anyway. This is just to stop obviously my blush fading throughout the day. This is why I use cream products to powder products. So everything cream I put down, I replace it with powder. That's how you get it long lasting, okay? Speaking of my makeup being long lasting, I like to now go in with a setting spray just to kind of seal all the creams in before I powder. This one's the Fenty Beauty You Mist. This is the makeup extending setting spray. I like it because it's more of like a wet mist rather than like an aerosol, but it's not too wet. It doesn't feel like disgusting on my face, but I feel like it does help to kind of seal everything and melt everything together a little bit. Now, if there's one step I've always taken very seriously, it's my powder, okay? I use several because I use them for different things and they all do and achieve different looks on my face, and it's just very necessary, okay? My base is just something that I like to stick to. I feel like I just know what works for me. I like to start with setting underneath my eyes. This is the Jordana Tisha powder in Pearl Sugar. This comes with like a loose and a pressed powder. The pressed is like brightening and then the loosest to set. Pearl Sugar is one of my new favorite shades because I ran out of my Sugar Cookie from Huda Beauty. It's like the white brightening loose powder. Fucking love that stuff. But this, just wait, okay, just wait. I like to use this underneath my eyes, and then I like to set the T-zone with this as well. So take some, really important, pat it on the back of your hand like this, because look at all this excess powder. That will just clump up. Think about it. When you're setting your creams, remember that your creams are still technically wet. They have been setting as we've been doing our makeup, which is a good thing, but they're tacky. And I feel like if you go in with too much powder, like if any of those little bit like loose bits catch, kind of more at risk to go patchy, because the dry will stick to the wet, if that makes sense. Make sure it's all even like that. Get rid of any creases and then go straight in and set generously as well. This will help to get rid of any creases. Also, setting generously underneath your eye will help with mascara transfer. It all just kind of comes back around. And then I take a little bit more, and I'm actually just going to leave this down the sides of my nose. Bake. I don't really bake too much anymore, but it's just going to help with my like nose contour, and I'll leave that there like that. Look how bright and smooth that looks. This powder, don't know what Jordana put in this, but she knew what she was doing. Again, for me, this is how I just get the smoothest finish. And by the way, creases underneath your eye are so normal. Everyone creases. Obviously, we can minimize them by doing techniques like this. Like, it's just part of the face, okay? Don't stress if you have under eye creases. Like I said, there's things we can do to minimize and help it. They are very, very normal. This powder, because it is like brightening and setting, like I said, I'm going to use this in the T-zone. So I use it on my chin, my upper lip. I'm quite generous with this as well because I like my face to be matte. I also like to make sure I kind of take this onto my cheeks here. Like this, blur that blush in, veil over the blush and stuff here, because I like this bit to be, again, nice and bright and soft. The only place I don't go is like the outer parts of my face. Look how smooth this makes. My forehead is crazy. And I also have Botox to help with that. It's not all the powder. Actually, that's a lie. I am also just going to put a little bit here just to help shape my face. God, you're such a liar, Jordan. Sometimes I do this, to be fair, sometimes I don't. It just depends on the day. I'm gonna do it today. That's that done. This step, I swear by, this is how I get my pink cheek to look so soft and blended and just makes it pop in literally the best way. The new Huda Beauty powder in Ube Birthday Cake. Okay, this is the lilac setting powder. I grab some, same thing, back of the hand. I focus this on the outer corner of the eye. I basically follow, you know, that like bronzer line here. But where this is a setting powder and not like a powder blush, it just gives this soft, I don't know if you can see that difference between the two. It just gives that soft veil of pink. It just helps to kind of blur everything into the under eye. And sometimes I'll even take it just here if I really want that like extra little pink pop. I used to do this with the P. Louise pressed powder in the shade Dolly. That's really nice as well. But since this one's launched, I've been using this instead, where it's lilac-y as well. It has that like cooler toned like pop. I just think it looks really cute. Obviously, as we blend all the other powder products on top, like everything will like blend together. This is just the powder setting, but yeah, honestly, it makes all the difference. I swear by that. It's just here, just up here. It also helps to lift the face as well. Keeps it nice and bright. Last powder step. I know some people are going to think I'm crazy for this, but this is what I like to do. Powder foundation. Not only does it help to get rid of any excess powder on the skin, adds a little bit more coverage. I just like the velvety matte finish of it. I love the Fenty one. I like the one size one, but I've also been loving this one from Rimmel. This is the Lasting Finish Compact Powder Foundation. This is in the shade Sesame. Just a little bit. I almost like just dust it. Obviously, I've still got powder underneath here, so I'll just kind of pat and dust that off. I even like it on my nose. I don't know if you can tell, it's just giving that like extra matte finish. I like that. I also feel like it helps to like get rid of any texture, like as much texture as possible. Some people think that your powders kind of enhance texture. Use the right way. I feel like for me, it helps to actually like get rid of my texture. Even though I'm using 3 powders, I use them in all different places. So really there's only sort of like one official layer of powder on my skin. They just all do different things, which is how my face doesn't look super powdery. I mean, it looks like I'm wearing makeup obviously, but that's what I want it to look like. Powder bronzer. I love the House Labs Power Sculpt Velvet Bronzer at the moment. This is in medium level 5. I only use a tiny bit of this. Everywhere I put the cream bronzer is basically where I put this, just a little bit. It's quite red toned, which is actually quite nice with the pink. Literally just enhances it slightly, because sometimes you can lose it with the powders. I really don't put any here, just back here. I almost see it as like a mini little triangle. So here to here. You know, day to day, I like to just be more blushy than bronzy. By the way, this is a P. Louise I don't know why my brain just broke. 696. Favorite thing to do is go over it with my, like, you know, like the edges of the bronzer, go over it with the powder puff. Literally just tap over everything. Powder puff is one of my most used tools throughout my entire routine because I just go over everything all the time. Just really, really quick. press over everything. I feel like it just blends everything together without actually having to blend. It just presses it all in. Gorgeous Trigwell, we love you. Another thing too, your makeup has a marination process. So if you feel like you look powdery now, by the time you set the skin, melt everything together, and then also give it like half hour to an hour, your makeup melts into your face anyway, like it marinates. Sometimes it's better to put more to make up for that fact, if that makes sense. That's how my brain works anyway. Like, I don't mind looking powdery for like half hour because I know like it will look better in like an hour. Like your makeup looks best, I feel like half hour, an hour in. These blushes, the new ones from Fine, are unbelievable. These are so beautiful. So these are called the Dimension Blusher Duos. They're gorgeous. So they're powder blushes, but you get two formulas. You get a matte and a shimmer. Sorry, but how stunning is that shade? This is Cozy Pink. Oh, it's beautiful. They're almost like a highlighter as well. This one is a little bit deeper. This is Blossom Bliss. I just love these so much. Also, the packaging is so cool. This literally twists, and this is a mirror. I'm gonna take Blossom Bliss, take the powder matte side, and I'm just gonna stamp that onto the cheek, keeping it more in this area, like the apple of the cheek. Gonna kind of blend it underneath the eye slightly. See how that pink is just popping through a little bit more? On a smaller brush, this is actually the Fine concealer brush, but I love this sort of like flat side for this. A little bit of the shimmer side, but by the way, this is pigmented, so just be careful. The shimmer side is even more pigmented than the matte. I'm going in really lightly, but it just gives the skin the most gorgeous glow, almost like an unset kind of finish. If I want to make it pop even more, I'll take the one from the lighter shade. You see that? Just in one area. The smaller brush is obviously going to keep it in more of like a concentrated area because I don't want it to cover my whole cheek. Like on my nose as well, or whatever's left. Just look, it's literally like a highlight at the same time. It's so good. Sometimes I do this, sometimes I don't. It just depends on the day. If I want like an extra bit of brightness underneath the eye, I take the pressed side of that Jordana Tisha powder, just a little bit. I'm also put it like here, you know? I don't know if you can tell, but it's just like a smidgen of extra brightness. Middle of my forehead, my chin, just to balance out. This is literally so random, but I love this brush so much. It's the Fine Art Beauty blusher brush. I just literally use things for whatever I want, but this side here, to like dust off, you know, the bake from my nose, kind of blend everything together because it's so tall and soft, and you can see like the bristles are so, I don't know, it's like flimsy and not like condensed. It's so fluffy. It just lightly dusts everything like off and together. Let's just take it all over. There's just something about this brush to do this with, which is just perfect. It's one of those random brushes in your makeup bag that you're like, I can't be without this now. Like it's just minor, but like also not. Final thing, I like to add any of my little moles that I always do. One here, one here. I typically like to turn spots into them as well, but I don't think I want one there, so we're not gonna do that today. That's kind of it for the base. I feel like everything will look more cohesive once we get into the rest of the makeup, like when you have the lip and stuff on. For my eyes, I really don't do anything too crazy day to day. I'm just gonna set the lids with some powder though, just to stop them creasing, literally just like a translucent powder, nothing fancy. There's nothing more I hate than a creased eyelid. Personally, I like to do a little bit of a wing because I do like my eyes to be a little bit more cat eye. Even day to day, I still like them to be a little bit more like but I use brown because I feel like it's a bit softer. My favourite liner to do this with is actually the Fenty one because I feel like it's the most like chocolatey. Right now, I've got no idea what that is, so I'm actually going to use the Huda Beauty one today. This one's still really nice. This is the like Life liner. Yeah. I just flick out. By the way, this nib is so fine, which is really nice to do this with, but I just keep it really, really thin. I only go to like the halfway point of my eye. Keep it really close to the lash line, like really, really thin. And then when I get here, just join it in again. I like to keep things really, really thin. And I will take it into the inner corner, but I basically press it against my lash line though. Like that, like a little wing. With eyeliner, practice does make perfect. Obviously I'm a little bit more speedier with it now because I do it all the time, but my kind of rule as well with my eyeliner is when I look down, I like this to be a straight line on top. Oh, not me ruining it. Then this is the part where I decide if I want to wear a lash or not, because I know, shock horror, I have also just been enjoying curling my lashes and putting on some mascara. If I do that routine, I use the Shiseido eyelash curler and then the Maybelline Sky High waterproof mascara. Honestly, it just depends how I wake up and feel in the morning, but because I'm filming, do you know what, I'm gonna do a lash. My everyday makeup as well, sometimes I want it to feel a bit more glam, and I feel like a lash just does that for me. Also, this might sound crazy, but when I stick on lashes, this is way quicker than curling my lashes, doing my mascara, because I'm way more fussy with my mascara. Whereas a lash, I could put the lash glue on. By the time I've applied my mascara, I can put them on and I'm done. I'll show you. Just gonna chuck on some of my Maybelline Sky High mascara. And this will literally take me 2 seconds because I don't really care about how the lashes look. I just want them to be obviously coated like that. I make sure I get all the way to the root because I hate it when my lashes look almost like dusty because my lashes don't have enough mascara on them. Ready? I'm gonna do this in real time so I can show you. By the way, these are Candy from Doll Beauty, but I don't think they sell these anymore, which makes me really upset. I think the lash Ava is meant to be close. You only find a lash in your drawer and use them, but look how quick I can apply these in one take. I just make sure they're pushed against my lash line. Done. Tell me you're a lash wearer without telling me you're a lash wearer when you can apply them that quick. Don't get it twisted. Sometimes it's not as easy as that. These lashes are just so wispy and long and delicious. This is what I do, okay? I'm like an all or nothing kind of gal. This step for me is just what takes it to the next level to kind of get that like cat eye sort of look. Rimmel London Scandalise Kohl Liner. This is in chocolate brown. Again, going with the browns because it's a bit softer. I'm just gonna put this into my waterline, making sure I get all the way in that inner corner. Looks more like, that's my favorite kind of makeup to have as well. Sometimes I can be without this, sometimes I can't. Just again depends on the day. I feel like my eye makeup is really something that I just kind of like get a feel for and see. But lower lash mascara, it does take it from here to here for me. The MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash Mascara. This is my favorite bottom lash mascara ever, and you're gonna see why. It's insane. And that's it for my eyes. For lips, this is such like a go-to combo for me at the moment. Fine liner in the shade Fawn. I love the shade of this. It's so unbelievably creamy, but once you've got it on, blend it out. This shit sets, okay? Like it won't budge all day. I think that's why I like it for every day too. The color of it's such like a pretty nude. It's like a nice neutral brown. Quickly grab a tiny little blending brush. See what I mean? Like it will dry quick. For lipstick, this is the Barry M liquid lipstick in the shade Hun. Well, actually it's called the Matte Me Up Matte Liquid Paint. I hope they still do this, by the way. I know it's quite old, but it's like baby pink color. And obviously where it's like a liquid lip, it lasts long because I hate touching my lips up throughout the day. It's so annoying. Although saying that, my lips have been a little bit dry at the moment. So because of this colder weather, I have also been reaching for a gloss. How pretty is that color? I'm literally obsessed. And if I do want a gloss, it's either the Rimmel Glassy Glosses, I love them, or this. I think I've been loving this one at the moment because it's sparkly. This is what I carry around with me, especially if my lips start to get like dry throughout the day and I want to switch to a glossy lip, or even if I want to do a glossy lip. This is the Shiseido Shimmer Gloss Gel in 02. And it's just got the most beautiful, in fact, let me swatch it on my hand. It's just got the most beautiful, almost like, it's kind of like a blue iridescence, which I kind of like those cooler tones. I don't know if you can see, but it just looks so glossy and it just like amps up the lip. But I think I actually want to keep it matte today. Let me show you. See that? Look how glossy it makes my lips look because of those shimmer bits. Gonna seal everything in with the Fenty setting spray again. Voila. We are done. This is my signature go-to everyday makeup look. Hopefully you enjoyed. I tried to go as like in-depth as possible so that like I can explain the logic behind the way that I do things and why I do them, so then hopefully if you're wanting to achieve it, it's like a little bit easier. You guys are fucking sick at makeup, you don't need me to tell you how to do it. But anyway, I love you guys. I will leave all the products I used and shades and stuff in the description box, by the way, so check that out. Oh my god, subscribe please. Honestly, if you're new and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like the video, share, comment, all that groovy stuff. I never say that, but I am today. Get it together. Don't let me down. I love you guys and I will see you soon. I promise it will be soon.